trial is underway for 3 men accused of killing rapper Xxxtentacion more than 4 years ago in Florida. Reports say attorneys gave their opening statements Tuesday after spending the past 2 weeks in jury selection. Prosecutors have charged Michael Boatwright, Dedrick Williams, and Trayvon Newsom with first-degree murder and robbery with a firearm for the June 2018 shooting of the rapper, whose real name was Jassé Onfroy. Investigators say he was leaving a motorcycle shop in Fort Lauderdale when he was ambushed, robbed, and shot to death in his vehicle. Prosecutors reportedly argue that the 3 men saw the rapper in the store and made a plan to rob him. They reportedly accuse Williams of using a vehicle to cut off the victim's BMW, while the other 2 approached him with guns and tried to take $50,000 in a designer bag. Williams also faces a charge of operating without a valid license. A 4th suspect, Robert Allen, has pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and armed robbery for his role in this crime, and is set to be sentenced later this month. Reports say he will testify against the other 3 defendants. The trial is expected to last until March, and all 3 suspects have pleaded not guilty.
What's the deal, my people? Welcome to my channel, Panama's OG Truth. I'm currently right now paying attention to this murder trial. 4 young men back in 2018, I want to say June, they jacked and killed the rapper Xxxtentacion. And I don't know if you don't remember this, so let me refresh your memory a little bit for those who don't remember. Back in 2018, this young man went by the name of Xxxtentacion. He was a upcoming rapper from Florida. He really didn't appeal to me as far as, his music, but a lot of people, liked his music. So he was arguably on the come up, most definitely on the come up. He was making that money, he was picking up, he had a lot of buzz in social media. The youngsters, they were feeling him. Well, he went to this motorsport place. I'm not gonna say the name of the place. You could Google it, look it up. And he wanted to buy a motorcycle or a couple of motorcycles or motorbikes, however you want to term them. The staff, the management, they knew him. He was a repeated customer. He had been there before numerous times. So they knew who he was. They knew what type of purchases he liked to do, so they were acquainted with him. And he went to the bank that morning. He was trying to pull out $250,000 from his account. He wasn't asking for a loan or anything like that. He was pulling this money out of his account. And from what the reports say is that when he got to the bank teller told him, hey, you asking for $250,000, but the bank doesn't have that capacity right now, so we could give you $50,000. So he's like, shit, just give me whatever you want. So they make an agreement that they're gonna give him $50,000, and he's supposed to come back the previous day and get the other $200,000. So they give him his $50,000. He puts it in his Louis V man purse, if that's what you want to call it. He puts it in there, and him and a good friend of the family, he's like an uncle to X, I believe it through his mom. They're rolling together, they're going to the place to go buy the motorcycles. And when he gets there, you already have these 4 clowns with a little plan that they came up with, that they were gonna rob somebody. So they're going to this place. Keep this shit in mind. You can't make this up. They're going to this motorsport to buy a ski mask so they can start hitting their licks, so they can start, putting their jack moves. So while they're looking around, looking for the ski mask, they spot Xxxtentacion. Everybody knows who he is. Like I said, he has a large following. So they spot him. They see him with his badass, necklace, his link. That shit costs money. So that shit, attention. And they start peeping him out like, what this nigga doing here? So at some point in time, they get on the phone, they call the two little homies, they're out there in the parking lot, and they're like, hey man, you know, you ain't gonna believe who just ran up in this motherfucker. And they tell them, Xxxtentacion up in here. You know he got that money. So they decided they're gonna rob him. Okay, and this is what they call crime of opportunity. Now, they had been already, you know, rolling around that day with the intentions of robbing somebody. That's what they were doing. You know, they were looking for somebody to catch slipping and rob them, get them. Jack boys, in other words. So they spot X, and when he's trying to leave the establishment in his BMW i8, they cut him off. They cut him off. They in a Dodge Journey. They cut him off, and they pull out. And from the report say, 2 of them pulled out. So that being said, you have Michael Boatwright, you have Dedrick Williams, you have Trayvon Newsom, and then you have Big Boy, the one that's testifying against his fault partners, his little homies. He's testifying against him, Robert Allen. He's a state prosecution witness. He cut a deal for a lesser charge of second-degree murder, which they still gonna fuck him. It don't matter. They're gonna use you and abuse you, and then boom, they still gonna give you a shitload of time. Fuck around and get a life sentence. So they pull that move, and the thing that's more messed up, you know, they killed this dude, you know, and then they go on social media and they're bragging and flashing money, you know, out of nowhere. Like just a couple of days after they do this dumbass, you know, murder, you know, they got them on camera. There's cameras all over that parking lot. They think because they're wearing a ski mask that you can't tell who they are, and you can. Especially when you have one of your own that was there that day testifying against you. But yeah, they're on social media flashing the money, high-siding, like they're rap stars and, you know, trying to live a life that fake. But I don't get it. You guys help me understand what's the thing with committing crimes, doing these licks, and then going on social media and posting pictures and bragging about that shit. Like, you self-incriminating yourself. I mean, in my times, if you were doing dirt, if you were doing any type of licks or whatever, you showed didn't brag about it, you showed didn't talk about it, you kept that shit to yourself. Because the less people know, the better it is. Nobody could tell it on you. But now, it's the opposite. These cats out here robbing, killing, pushing all this dope, and then they go on social media, Instagram and shit, and they're over here flashing this shit. And then when they get caught, the DA, the feds, all they gotta do is say, man, pull up his social media. And it's all right there. And they turn around and use that shit in court and lock your ass up. Like, you making their job that much easier. You're setting a pattern. You're giving them information to use against you. And for whatever reason, these kids continue doing this shit every fucking day. It blows my mind away. I mean, how many more examples do we need? If you out there killing people, if you a hitman, the last thing you need to do is be on social media. You need to be a ghost. If you robbing people, whatever you doing that's illegal, that you know it could get you put up, you need to be a ghost. Don't flaunt that shit. I'm not saying that it's right. Don't get that misunderstood. I'm not saying that it's right. All I'm telling you is that if you're gonna be out there in the streets, you better know what the hell you're doing. And that social media shit, that's not what's up. So the thing that gets me is I'm watching the first day when they're presenting, you know, what type of evidence is gonna be used, who played what role. And I'm looking at these cats and they laughing, grinning, chilling, like styling for the camera, you know, and I'm like, bro, do you realize that your life is done? Do you realize that these people finna give you fucking football numbers? Your life is done. I don't know if they're going for the death penalty, because Florida does have a death penalty. Yeah, that shit, you know, it's available in Florida. Yeah, it's available. I don't know when's the last time they executed somebody, but it is available in Florida. Look it up. Florida has a death penalty. So these cats are looking at, like I said, if it's not the death penalty, they're looking at life sentences or something around, you know, 50, 60 type shit. You know, they out of there, man. And they're smiling and kikiing and flirting and shit with attorneys and all that. It's like no regard for what the fuck is going on. No regard. Especially the skinny, tall dude, the supposedly the trigger man, Michael Boatwright. He think he the coolest thing in the world. And I'm like, bro, you gonna be fucking crying 20 years down the line when you're sitting in that cell. I mean, they're done. This is a open and shut case. Slam dunk. The DA, she ain't all that good neither. That black chick, she ain't all that good. If you watch and you listen to her conversation, how she's piecing everything together, she got a lot of seasoning to go. But this case is so easy. It's easy for the prosecution. Hell, you don't need no law degree to get these fools convicted. You just need to know a little bit of the law and you'll get them convicted. They have a lot of overwhelming evidence. Like I said, body language, body size, you could tell who's who. You got the snitch, fat boy, Robert Allen. He a little fat motherfucker. Then you got Michael Boatwright. That nigga tall and skinny. Then you got Trayvon Newsom. He's the second tallest. And then you got another the shortest one of the bunch. And his name is Dedrick Williams. He's the one with the cross tattoo and the other shit on his face. What they call him, Tattoo Chucky. That's his nickname, Tattoo Chucky. I can't make this shit up, man. So it's not funny. It's just funny to me that these dudes really think that they're on a fucking Netflix binge watching night. Like, they're just chilling, man. Like, they don't get it, man. You know, your life is gone. Disappear. And a lot of this shit, that people have the misconception, you can't make this back up. Once you lose it, you lose it. Your freedom is gone. Some people have a chance. They get out and they do something with their life. Like in my case. But when you have that type of time that them boys about to get, it's done. It's over with. So the first thing, I don't recommend you to be out there jacking. I don't recommend you to be out there robbing and pulling guns in people's face. Anything they got to do with a violent crime in this country, man, they'll make an example out your ass. These folks are not playing. These folks are not playing. Violent crimes, and if you fucking with that fentanyl shit right now, you might as well forget about it, because they're going to give you football numbers too. Anything that affects them little white kids, believe me, they're going to give you ass some time. And that fentanyl is fucked up. It's kicking everybody's asses out there doing that shit. So it is what it is, man. So, if you out there doing, dirt, know what you're dealing with. Know what you're dealing with. Don't go out there and, you jump in the water and you don't know if the water's hot or cold. Know what the fuck you doing. But back to these youngsters, they did some stupid ass shit and they thought they got away with it. Robert Allen, he's basically he's done the job for the DA. All she gotta do is ask the questions, and he gonna say, the other three, they should have pleaded guilty and took what they got coming. Because when you don't plead guilty and you know in your heart they got overwhelming evidence against your ass, and you try to fight that shit and you take it to court, you take it to trial, then people gonna make an example at your ass. So if your crime carries, a life sentence, they're gonna give you a life sentence plus 30. It is what it is. They're gonna make an example out your ass. If they call it, they're gonna turn it up on your ass. So right now, these youngsters, they cooking. They got them over the fire, rotisserie style. So let's see what happens. I just want it to be a lesson. You got a lot of motherfuckers out here that they don't want to work. All they want to do is jack. And that jacking shit, it has a one-way road. And at the end of that road, it splits. One is the penitentiary. The other one, death. That's it. The penitentiary or death. That's what that shit leads to. You might get away with it a few times, but it all comes back in full circle. And when that full circle comes back around, don't be like Mr. Robert Allen. You know, he gave his homeboys up like that. Fat boy said, fuck that. I'm gonna try to save myself. Now he up there on the stand looking like a big ass cabbage patch with an afro, little nappy ass afro. And he over there talking about, yes. You could barely hear him. The DA had to tell him, speak up. You know, you weren't sounding like that when you were on Instagram flashing all that money and all that shit. So I just feel bad for X, man. You know, man was working, you know, trying to get his life straight. Finally seen that money, fruits of labor. And these motherfuckers came out of nowhere and snuffed his life. It's fucked up. And the thing that really, really, really makes me laugh, one of the attorneys, I believe is Tattoo Chucky's attorney, last name Padilla. He is trying to say that the person responsible for Xxxtentacion's murder is Drake. Because X supposedly has a song where he says that if he gets killed, or not a song, he made a post. He posted that if he got killed, something happened to him, it was Drake. Supposedly him and Drake were having some type of beef back then, back on forward. You know, I don't really call it beef, but, you know, a little disrespect here and there. And he made that comment. He posted that comment. Later on, the comment was removed. He said that somebody tweeted hacked his account. That was not him, you know, so who knows. But his attorney, Tattoo Tucky's Dedrick Williams, his attorney, he threw that in there. So now it's a good possibility that they're gonna, you know, have Drake, you know, give him their position and have him testify. As far as that, you know, they're gonna question him. Is Drake really gonna come to Florida and testify? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, the worst they could do is fine him. You know, fine him, and if the governor wants to have a warrant for his arrest, if he comes into Florida, yeah, but I don't see that happening. It would take more taxpayers' money and more time than it's worth. I mean, he's not accused of any crime. So, but his lawyer is trying to do that. That's what you call a Hail Mary, a prayer's chance. That's what that shit is. It ain't gonna work, but hey, you know, any type of confusion, any type of doubt you could cast in the juror's mind, it's worth it. And that's how the attorneys think, you know. He knows he has a long shot, but try it. These type of cases are, like they said, open and shut. They know it. But who knows? Any little luck, you know, and all you need is one person to have doubt. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But I'm telling y'all right now, these motherfuckers are done. They're already in the ground. The coffin is nailed up. And what you see now, they're throwing dirt over the coffins. They're done. Once again, I appreciate y'all joining me. Stay tuned, man. That's all I can say. Stay tuned. You know, there's so much shit going on that it's hard for me to bring it to you quick enough. But stay tuned. Be safe. If you go back now, I'm telling you right now, you're going to lose yourself. Listen to what I'm telling you. I don't give you an opinion. I don't give you a like. I don't tell you what they dislike or I dislike. I'm giving you the truth. Panama's OG truth. Keeping it 100. That's the only way I know how to do it. Y'all be blessed. Y'all have a good one.